I am Brenda Austin Smith, and I'm honored to be reading this citation today. The highest distinction of the Senate of a university can confer upon an individual is an honorary doctorate. At the University of Manitoba, the criteria include distinguished achievement in scholarship, the arts, or public service. Our honorary graduate this afternoon is Lara Ray. A trailblazing force in Canada's comedy scene for more than 3 decades, Lara Ray is an orator and an entertainer, a teacher and an advocate. Beloved for her ability to leverage her enthusiasm to bring about change in society, Ray is well respected for her willingness to give of herself with openness, humor, and grace, and invigorating others to do the same. Born in Glasgow, Scotland, Ray began her career as a comedian in the early 1980s, while still a student at Toronto's York University. Forming one half of the successful comedy duo Al and George, Ray toured Canada, the US, and the UK with their irreverent musical comedy shows before the pair broke up in 1990. In the aftermath of the split, Ray wrote a play, How Do You Know When You're Done?, which explored a fictionalized comedy duo's breakup over creative differences. In the mid-1990s, Ray moved to Winnipeg, where she founded the Winnipeg Comedy Festival with Tom Anico in 2002 and served as the festival's artistic director for 18 years. A longtime contributor, writer, columnist, and producer on CBC radio and television, Ray has written for programs such as Black Fly, Big Sound, What a Week, Definitely Not the Opera, and Monsoon House. She shares a Prix-Roma Screenwriting Prize and is a 3-time Canadian Comedy Award nominee and a Gemini Award nominee from her work as one of the co-developers of the hit television series Little Mosque on the Prairie, which ran for 6 seasons and aired across the globe. She is the former theater and opera reviewer for CBC Manitoba and has been reviewing books for over 15 years with the Winnipeg Free Press. Her autobiographical play, Dragonfly, which explores her gender odyssey and her journey as a transgender woman, won the 2020 Chris Johnson Award for Best Play by a Manitoba playwright and was nominated as Book of the Year at the Manitoba Book Awards. She was the first transgender woman to guest host the CBC flagship news program, The Current. In addition to her cultural and creative works, Ray has been a prominent community activist for social justice. In 2019, Ray founded Pantry, a local food project that provides home-cooked meals, winter clothing, and other essentials to her neighbors in Winnipeg's West Broadway area who are struggling with food and shelter insecurities. The success of Pantry is fueled by the same energy she has shared throughout her life to create community, embrace change, celebrate inclusion, and inspire action, both in Manitoba and far beyond. Ray was named one of the Nellie McClung Foundation's 150 trailblazers for this work and for her long-standing contribution to Winnipeg's cultural communities. Ray continues to write and perform comedy in Winnipeg and is an instructor at the University of Winnipeg's Department of Women and Gender Studies. Madam Chancellor, it is an honor for me to ask, on behalf of the Senate of the University of Manitoba, that you confer a Doctor of Letters honoris causa to Lara Ray in recognition of her trailblazing impact on Canada's comedy scene, her dedication to the cultural and social life of Manitobans, and her tireless advocacy for Winnipeg's 2SL LGBTQ+ community.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Chancellor of this university, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges thereto appertaining.
I now invite Dr. Lara Ray to address Convocation.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, how is everybody? Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, I can't write prescriptions, by the way. Yeah. I'm so glad to be here. And I just want to stand up for a moment and take a chance to look around here and you guys right in front of me who I'm addressing this speech to. Just give you a chance to turn to your neighbor and just look at your neighbor and say, do you know who she is? And but I'm going to tell you who I am and why I'm here. And you guys look amazing and you're great. And I know what we've all been through. So please give yourselves a round of applause. It's so good. Oh. You're beautiful, you're beautiful. And I'm really speechless, which is a drag because they want me to make a speech. But look at us all today, awesome. And really think about all the different paths that we walked to get here and be here together on this beautiful day. I was born in Glasgow, Scotland in 1963. And for a lot of my life, that didn't seem like a long time ago. But sitting in front of you guys, it feels like a very long time ago. And one day for all of us, today will be a long time ago. So hold it in your heart and cherish it while it's still fresh and young and beautiful. And the world has changed since I was a child who knew at 3 years old that they were very, very different from other people. And that can be scary. And it was, because I knew by what I heard and saw that the way I was different somehow was bad. Because people told me I was a boy and I knew that I was a girl. And I'm good with words, and some of you will know this, but it's a pain that is utterly indescribable. That pain of not being allowed to be who you are. Now, are we still talking about transgender people? Sure. But is there any one of you guys here today that does not know in some way the pain of not being allowed to be who you are? It's so common that people get rich and they get elected and they create whole institutions and even countries dedicated to deciding how you should be and stop people from being who they are. Maybe you don't know who you are yet. I didn't at your age. And maybe you never fully will. Well, that's fine, because you are who you are. And if you don't like who you are, I get that. I was a drunk for 34 years. No one liked who I was, especially me. But you know what? People loved me. And I always had the same response. Bad idea. I'll let you down, or you'll let me down. We've all been that person that talks backwards, that person that expects other people to know that they live in an upside-down world where when they say to you, "Get the hell away from me," they mean, "Come towards me and hold me." And when they say, "I don't need love," they mean, "I don't know how to ask." And we've all been that person. But I do feel worthy of love. But I'm not naive, and I'm not a toxic, positive person, and I know that in our lives and in your lives that hurt, people hurt. But when we begin to love ourselves, all the things that worked for us in that upside-down land stop working, and all those anxieties and all those fears, they fall away, just like hundreds of millions of skin cells and baby teeth and your full head of hair and your 20/20 vision and your hearing and your youthful pep and your easy charm. It's all going to disappear, okay? I'm not kidding. And then you know what? It's still beautiful, and you're still you. Guys, 7 years ago, I chose life because I knew it was time, and I said to myself, you know what? You have to do this. For that little trans child, I had to honor that child and be myself. So 7 years ago, I changed my gender. For those at the back, to female. That's a joke. It wasn't easy. The first thing I realized was that the makeup was really going to cut into my weed money. But I started on hormones, and you begin to change physically, but also in how you see, and of course, how you are seen in the world. And first, it's so exciting. And you check your blood levels as the estrogen rises in your body, and it literally changes your brain, and to some degree, how you think. So for example, when estrogen reached a peak adult female level in my brain, I no longer had the remotest interest in the Canadian progressive rock band Rush. Just disappeared. And now I'm very happy. Is life still hard? Yeah. Is it harder? Of course it is. You know why? Because people don't like change. They don't like you to change. People, and all of us, are obsessed with youth, and we're obsessed with death and avoiding death, but you can't do it. And so you just have to keep change. That's what life is. Change after change after change after change after change. But there is some expectation here today, and especially for you, people in front of me today, the graduates, our future, who are now commencing your lives, that I give you, young humans today, some tips, some life hacks. But what can I tell you guys? You know, how to be trans? 6-year-olds school me on that every single day, right? Am I going to tell you guys how to save the planet? Me? You don't think they taught us about pollution and the ozone and acid rain in the 60s? They did. In fact, no one even denied it back then. But I don't think you want to hear from someone whose generation as a whole barely lifted a finger. So here's all I can say to you guys today, is one thing I've learned in my 59 years, and I'm just going to pause on that because I know I don't look 59. And so, people criticize others for things they hate in themselves. It's more noise from upside down land. And you can always reverse engineer that. So when men say, women never stop talking, really? Okay, dude, sure. Gay people are trying to indoctrinate children. Oh, really? What do you think a gender reveal party is? People don't want other people to be happy because they are unhappy, and that's just a period. And something else you'll hear, and I hear it all the time, Gen Z are lazy. They don't know how to behave in the workplace. No, forget it. Okay, boomer. you guys assembled here today, you know what you're doing. You've got this. I was born in 1963. I have students in my transculture course that I teach, and I literally have no idea what gender they were assigned at birth. I mean that literally. And I'm not gonna lie, at 59 years old, at first that was kind of weird. And I would do that thing where you check them out and you squint and you try to figure out, because for some reason, I thought that was important. And when I let that go, and I realized it wasn't important, it really changed the way I look at every single human being. Those who hate change can say, we must proceed with caution. We must respect tradition. We should not move too quickly in an overabundance of caution. Let's just let more people die. You see how that sounds out loud? Seriously, be yourselves. Trust me, it's worth it. Be yourselves, because you already are, and you already all look pretty perfect to me. And if you can, and I know a lot of you can't, and I know a lot of you won't, but even just a small handful of you, if you can just, for me and for this province and this city, stay here, stick around, even for just a little bit, because there's so much work to do here, so much work to do on reconciliation, on helping people, in lifting people out of poverty. And we need your brains, and we need your minds, and we need your diversity. But if you leave, I wish you the best, and I love you all, and I'm so delightful to be here. And I'm kind of radical, so I'm gonna kind of step over this artificial carpeted moat, and I'm just gonna get a little closer. Thank you all. Thank you very much. And thank you for this beautiful, beautiful honor. It's just amazing. Thank you.